Hey everybody, welcome to episode 10 of Between the Lanes. I'm Ralph.
And I'm Ron.
Thank you guys for tuning in this week. A lot of you probably never thought we'd even make it to episode 10, but here we are. So if you're still around, still listening, and you haven't done so, head over to the Facebook page and the YouTube page and give it a like and give it a share. We would very much appreciate it.
Probably people looking for the slit their wrist button or something,
Yeah,
maybe.
maybe the thumbs down button, I don't know.
No, we still get lots of. This weekend at the race, there were several people come up and said how they appreciate everything we're doing and everything. So,
yeah, that's one of the cool things to me is, most of the time when I go racing, I pretty much know most of the people there, but I have people coming up that I never met, and we love the show, so that's really cool.
Yep, and they like the how-to videos, which you still need to do a couple.
Yes. We might film some on the fly how-to segments this weekend at the track with some real time.
You got a mouse in your pocket? You said we.
Data, we.
Okay. I'm sure we'll figure something out.
Yep.
All right, so what do we want to start with?
Well, first I think we should probably do the race results.
Okay.
We had a lot of race results, and we've got a lot of upcoming races.
Yeah, there was a lot of races last weekend. There's a lot of races coming up this weekend, and it's the season, as they say. So,
and we had our surprise ISRA Italy episode. If you guys did not see that, go back and check that one out. The video's a little sketchy on the Italian end, but it's a pretty good watch overall. It's pretty interesting.
Yep.
And we're certainly keeping track of how that race plays out as they're still racing right now.
And I gotta thank Michael Colvin for helping put all that together. So
yeah, big shout out to Michael Colvin.
Definitely. Yeah, he did everything over there on that end, and unfortunately, just they had a bad Wi-Fi or weak Wi-Fi, I guess we'll say. So it caused some problems, but I think you get the gist of what we were trying to do. And like I said, the race is still going on, but we will have some results for you here soon, including an American on the podium. And some of our guests there did quite well so far.
Absolutely, yeah.
All right, so moving on.
All right, so what are we starting out with?
We're going to start with Penn Jersey. They raced.
Yeah. Rob Geibel, pay attention. We're talking about Penn Jersey.
Penn Jersey was at Bloom. I don't know the name of the raceway. I think it was Bloom, Pennsylvania. Okay. So anyway, they raced trucks, and Jerry Herbert Jr. was the winner with Randy Core. When's the last time you heard that name, Randy Core?
Would have been at a retro race years ago.
Yeah, and third place was his sidekick, Dale Granger. So
you're right. Yeah, you know what? I saw the results, and I even think Billy Gerhardt was there. So it was good to see. Those guys are kind of like a staple. They ran the Mason-Dixon Retro Series for a year. Yep. They were always been racing around Pennsylvania, Maryland, New Jersey. But in the last couple of years, you kind of hadn't really seen a lot of them. So it was good to see those guys back.
And then in the Cup class, Andrew Eldridge won. I guess he won the B main, but he wound up winning overall from the B main.
Yeah.
And then second was the winner of the A main, Joe M. And John Mattis, who was second in the A main, was third overall. So it went.
Okay, we'll see. Okay, the results I had John Mattis
in the B main too.
Well, it said that he was first in the A main.
Oh. Well, the results I seen was
201 laps.
Okay. Well,
and so I guess that would have made Andrew Eldridge and Joe M., who were in the B main, first and second overall.
Yeah. Okay, maybe that was it.
And then John Mattis was third overall. Is what it looked like to me.
Okay. So your top three was Andrew, Joe, and John. We know that. So.
Right.
All right. So then.
And I think it was called Bloom Raceway and Hobbies, by the way.
Okay. In Bloom, Pennsylvania, or is that just some? Maybe I got that confused. Never. We're moving on.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right. AWR, American.
Rob Geibel, call in. Let us know.
American Womp Racing Association was at Hobby Max, and they raced Legends with Daryl Jones, the winner. Carl Legaspi.
I don't know. I've never met him.
Okay. Second,
Carl L. Second. Good job.
Charles Eldridge, who raced with us
Yeah.
at Hobby Max before, he was third.
Yeah. And Carl owns American Adrenaline.
Right. Right. And then in the sportsman class, it was Pete Reams was the winner, followed by Carl, and then Charles again. So Charles had 2 seconds and
Charles had a good day.
or 2/3, and Carl had 2 seconds. So yeah, they both had good
It was
days.
definitely Charles in charge that day.
Yes. Then we had the BRS race at Downriver Speedway in Lincoln Park, Michigan, which I always refer to as Detroit. You're just outside of Detroit. So,
Right.
Retro Angle Winder, I was the winner. Richard T was second. Bob Foster was third. And we'll give a mention to Gary Beal, who was fourth. We only had 4 cars. So, Can-Am, it was me winning again with Frank Ulbrich second and Eric Shirey third.
Yeah, big shout out to my buddy Frank Ulbrich, who is straight out of the delivery room.
Yeah.
He just had his son a couple days ago, Ace Ulbrich.
Yeah, I think last Wednesday.
Yeah, I would imagine Ace is probably going to be – there are going to be some racing in his future, I'd imagine.
Yeah, he would be like third generation.
Yeah.
So, and congratulations again. F1, I won again, and Dave DeCoster, kind of a flexi car racer, he borrowed a good car, and he did a super job in the retro race. I mean, he doesn't race retro a lot, at least in the series, but he did a super job. And then Uncle Bob Dempsey was third, and it was kind of interesting because Richard T had won the B main with 255 laps, and then Uncle Bob turned 255, and Frank turned 255.
Wow.
And Bob and Frank were in the A. So Bob was third, Frank was fourth, and Rich was fifth.
Right.
So and those 3 were on the same lap. But
cool. That was pretty cool. Good racing. Good close racing.
It was pretty good close racing. So we're going to move over to hard bodies because last weekend we had both the JPM series in South Bend.
Yep.
And in Super Stock, it was Austin Milcherska winning with Zach Wood second and Mike W. third. He didn't have his name up. So and in Pony Sock, it was Zach Woods winning with Austin second and Justin Wilder third. So Austin and Zach, 2 youngsters. Zach's like, I'm going to say 14 or 15 years old.
He looked to be like a teenager, yeah.
Yeah, he's a really good little, really good little racer, and he's learning and moving right along. And Austin is 18, 19. I mean, but still a good young racer. So they both had a good day. So
it seems like maybe Zach kind of races with the Milcherskas a little bit. Probably not. Maybe like he runs their cars, maybe or.
Yeah. Because Grady Woods, Zach's dad, and JP, they go back.
Okay.
In real race car days and stuff like that. So
right.
kind of a tight knit little group there. So
right.
And then you had the B&E Crosstown Challenge at Mid America Raceway, and in the hobby stock class, longtime racer who's kind of made a comeback, Eldon Wright was the winner.
Yeah.
With another longtime racer, Neil Eisler, in second, and Jim Kreider was third. And we got to give some well wishes to Jim Kreider. He's been having some health issues, and
yeah, he just got out of the hospital last week, right?
Yeah, he raced at the Sano, went to the hospital, and I think he got out in the last day or so, or last day or two.
I thought he got out before the Sano.
And okay, yeah. I just know that he's going to miss another race this weekend that we're going to talk about here in a minute. So. And then dirt late model class, Neil won, Eldon was second, and Jim again was third. So
right,
kind of the same three guys on the podium. But and you probably don't know this, but Eldon Wright used to own a raceway that was in Illinois back in the it'd have to be mid to late 90s, and that track currently resides at Fast Eddie's in Richmond, Indiana. That was, I think, the first grandstand track that Ogilvy built.
Oh, that's cool.
So it kind of went from Illinois to northern Indiana, and then Fast Eddie wound up with it. And Fast Eddie's had it for a long time. So, And then we're going to head south to Texas Retro at Dallas Slot Cars. Can-Am was won by Ken Stevens. Casey Neubauer was second, and Richard Hoffer was third, otherwise a.k.a. Tex.
Yeah.
F1 Casey won with Ken Stevens second, and Dean Wolf was third.
Yeah. Shout out to Casey.
Yeah. He
lost his father the night before, right?
Yeah, in a very unfortunate, unexpected accident. So Casey showed up in race, and he won the F1 race, and he dedicated it to his dad. So
cool.
Sorry for your loss, Casey, and but good job on winning. I mean, it was good to see you this race and see you winning. So, all right. So now we're going to talk about the two big races last weekend. Still going on. So, but we'll talk about the Sano.
Okay.
Not necessarily in order as they ran them, but the first race we'll give you the results is the Coupe GTC class, which was handout motors, and for non-pro drivers.
So for those who don't know, GT Coupe is split, for lack of better words, really an amateur and a pro. They call the amateur class the FK class, GT Coupe FK, and then the pros are GT Coupe pros. And so basically, if you've been to an IRA Premier race and you won a race or podiumed on a race, then you are not eligible to run GT Coupe FK amateur class.
Correct. So in the GTC FK class, Paul Pfeiffer of Alpha Tires was your winner. And
now Paul
did quite well at the first Sano, but that was prior to IRA.
Right, yeah. So the first Sano race they had was basically just a bunch of guys getting together having a race.
Right.
And then at some point throughout the weekend in the parking lot, you were there, and the IRA officially formed.
Yep.
So, Paul won the original ones. I've raced with Paul throughout the years. Paul's a super nice guy and a really good racer. So it was good to see Paul at the race.
Yeah, Paul's been racing retro off and on probably the last 10 years or so. But all right, and then his sidekick, Jerry Galloway, which is a racer from his area, Paul's area, was second. And Matt Sheldon from Snowy, Colorado was third.
Yep. And Matt was on our show a couple episodes back.
Yep. And in the Coupe GTC Pro class, that was also handout motors too, correct?
Yes.
Yes. Willie Custer was your winner, followed by Paul Pfeiffer. Because when you win the
FK class,
non-pro class, FK class, whatever you want to call it, you have the option of moving up and racing pro on the same day. So Paul obviously moved up and got second place.
And most people who do that end up doing pretty well because they've kind of got like a race worth of track time under their belt.
They just had a warm-up race for 8 heats.
Yeah. So as long as they got like a motor
a decent motor,
they normally do pretty good.
Right. And I don't know how they did the Sano, but like at the R4, for example, if you win that class, they've already qualified the pro. So you kind of go in the tail end or the lowest main,
right?
Which could be a detriment depending on who else is in there and everything. And, but maybe they finished the race, then qualified the pros, and Pfeiffer seeded into the A by qualifying and was in a cleaner race, I guess would be the way to put it. So,
right. Well, see, they had move-ups too.
How did that?
So even if he would say there were 16 guys in the pro class and they put him in 16th, I mean, he could still run his second race of the day, being in the B, and then run his third race of the day.
Yeah.
Moved up, so he could have 3 races.
Yeah, he could have.
I don't know exactly if that's what happened or not, but
don't either. And race host Mike Swiss was third, officially, because I guess after
that's definitely surprising because he's basically like a mediocre racer.
Yeah, mediocre racer. And I don't think he's ever beat your Can-Am track record there either, has he?
I'm pretty sure he hasn't, no.
And I don't even know if he qualified this year quicker than you had in years past.
I don't think so.
I don't know. But anyway, so Ross Scharf actually finished third and was disqualified after the race for being underweight, and that's all I know about it. And
Yeah, I don't know the full extenses of
because
the.
the question came up, do they always weigh the cars? Yeah, a question was asked of me, do they weigh the cars after the races? And I said, well,
I don't remember ever having my coupe car weighed
I
or
don't
any.
recall that, but it doesn't matter. I mean, the rules say the cars have to weigh this much, and they should have to weigh that after the race because what keeps people from taking weight out of their cars during the race to run them lighter. I'm not saying Ross did anything like
No, no, yeah, no, definitely
I
not.
have been at races before where guys weighed at the start, and after the first heat they took their 10 grams of weight out of their car and they ran until they knew when there was going to be a mid-race tech or maybe up to through the seventh heat and put the weight back in their car for the last heat because they knew they'd weigh out after the race. So
Yeah, I think Ross was like 1.1 gram light. I think. So all right, so let me ask you just a.
hey, 25,000 cost me a Nats one year. So hey,
Yeah, but nobody cares.
yeah, I know
So
the rules.
all right, time out on the race results.
Okay.
So if the coupe cars have to weigh exactly 110 grams before and after the race,
Yeah.
should the rear tires have to be bigger than 812 when the race is over?
Well, no, because I think the rules say that you have to start the race
Just asking.
at a minimum diameter because we know tires wear down and you're not allowed to change tires. So
Yeah, but tires wear down and
your car's not going to get.
they lose weight, but they lose weight. I mean, brakes burn up, tires.
And you know what? You're okay. And you bring up a good point because your car could get lighter as the race goes on just due to crash damage. Maybe you knock lead out.
What if you were 109.9 and it was because your tires wore? Just saying. I mean, I don't know. Could happen. I don't know.
Well, that's living on the edge. Do I start the race at 110 or do I add an extra gram just in case?
Right.
But again, if it's not standard procedure to weigh cars after a race, which I'm not saying it is or it isn't.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if it's in the rules or covered by the rules, but most times we don't tech the cars at the end of the race.
My guess is, I wasn't there, but if I had to guess, he probably got in a crash and somebody probably saw weight come out.
That could have been.
And so then that's where, like, okay, well, we're going to tech the cars at the end of the race. Like, it's
right.
not there, I don't know, but.
And I've seen.
That was probably something like that probably happened. Noose wanted to make sure everything was on the up and up.
And I've seen people get their lead knocked out and they tell them to put their lead in and they don't.
Right.
And they get weight and get disqualified. Well, you didn't put your weight back in the car.
Yeah.
Now, whether 1 gram makes a huge difference or not, that can be debated for hours. But
right. Yeah.
All right. So moving right along. Then we had the F1 class on the flat track, on the Fiedler flat track.
Yep.
JP Milcherska was TQ, and he won that race over Howie and Kevin Van Pelt.
Yeah, and that was good because, JP doesn't run retro cars definitely as much as somebody like Howie or Kevin, I don't think.
JP doesn't race retro as much as he once did,
right.
But he's run a ton of hard body races in the last 6 months to a year on that track. So, it is what it is. But
good job, though. Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, I think he won by 5 laps. I mean, that was kind of huge on that track. So
yeah, it's handily done there.
Then they had stock cars on the King. First year they've run stock cars at the Sano. And it
was a good turnout, too. It was better because I think the last couple of years they ran Retro Pro.
No, they ran Can-Am Plus.
Can-Am Plus, that's right. And then the turnout hadn't quite been what Mike wanted, I don't think. But 14 stock cars was a great turnout for them.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to do it again next year, too.
So it was only fitting that a Southern boy, Will Brinkley, won that race.
Won the stock car class, yeah.
Yeah, and Willie was second and Howie was third.
Right.
And then Can-Am on the flat track, Mike Swiss won with Howie second and Chuck Gambo third. And then F1 on the King, Willie was your winner. Ross was second and Will Brinkley was third. And then final race of the weekend, I believe, was Can-Am on the King. And Willie Custer, TQ, beat your old track record. because you're mediocre.
Just mediocre.
Mediocre. And he won the race in convincing fashion, also setting a new lap record. Mike Swiss was second in a borrowed car from Will Brinkley, and Greg Fox was third.
Now, would that be considered home track advantage?
For Swiss?
Yeah.
Well, it just depends on how much he runs on his track. I mean,
I know.
it's not a home track advantage if you don't run on it, or you run. I mean, I guess you could say yes, it's a home track advantage because he runs on it more than some people that came and raced.
Yeah.
But then he still probably runs on it more than other people that came there and raced. So, yeah,
A lot of people probably won't get that joke.
I know. You would have to ask Howie
So
for the official ruling on home track advantage.
So back in the day, when Ron was basically unbeatable at Tom Thumb Hobbies, which was where the R4 was. How many R4s did you win? Like 11 or something?
I won 9.
9? Okay. So Howie got kind of upset one day and claimed it wasn't fair because Ron had home track advantage. Even though it's not your home track.
No.
You're not even in the same state.
No.
Yeah, but Howie thought it was quite unfair because it was home track advantage.
Well, we raced there quite often.
Yeah. No, you definitely raced there a lot, yeah.
But, I mean, there was other guys that raced there Josh Crutchfield raced almost every time I raced there. But I never heard Howie say, well, Josh has home track advantage.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, whatever. So, yeah. He also said the track was quirky and had quirks, and I knew all the quirks, and there's no quirks to that track. Yeah. So, all right. So
I will say though, I'm not trying to throw shade at any other track owner, but the Sano is a really fun race for me because Mike being a much more laid back guy than he is now, I just find that race to be more about fun, truly, than racing. Not saying I don't have fun at other races, but I just always had fun there. Like I thought the atmosphere was really.
Well, it was always a good fun time.
Yeah, like all the years of like Swiss and West going back and forth. Yeah. You're just constantly laughing or whatnot.
Yeah, and Howie getting yelled at for being on his cell phone.
Right. Yeah. Right. Just Swiss just going off on people, and it was always everyone's always laughing at the Sano. So.
Yeah. Sticky notes on the windows.
Or it was on the toilet.
No, that was the first. I'm talking when Wes was there and they were putting the sticky notes or changing.
Oh, I was talking about the toilet episode
with the flushing instructions.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Oh well. All good memories, all good times.
I wonder if he knows who that was or not.
No.
Oh, okay.
I don't think so. But anyway, moving right along. So we talked about the ISRA special show we had last week, and we had a lot of guys on there. We had, help me here, we had Justin Colvin, and we had Jonathan, and we had Wes, and we had Matt Bruce, and we had Paul Goronsky, and
Tonda,
and
Patrick Skeen,
and we had
Chris Radicic.
Yep, and we had
Pierre Castricon.
Yep, Piero.
Yeah.
And
was that it?
You know what? It seems like we had Chubby on there.
Yeah, I thought you said Chubby though.
I don't know if I did or not.
Okay.
So we had all them guys on, and it was kind of humorous and funny and entertaining, so we had the show and everything, and then they started racing on Saturday, I believe. Maybe they qualified the production cars on Saturday and started racing them Saturday, and I think they.
I thought they qualified Friday.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, anyway, so in the production race, it was a team race, 3 hours, I believe.
Yeah.
TQ was Justin Colvin and Sabrana from Brazil.
Luca, yeah.
Was his teammate.
And that was their second TQ in that class.
In a row, because they were TQ last year in Chicago. So I'd heard they had some. What I heard was, and I don't remember, maybe you told me this, but somebody said that shunt wire on the motor touched the commutator, and they had some motor problems in the A main that they had
I think that's what he's saying. I think Michael said basically it's kind of shorting out, caused it to slow down a little bit.
Okay.
And that was kind of their problem.
But rubs long enough, it'll break in two. So anyway, at the end of, was it 74 teams, I believe, Horky and Recheck was the winners by 2 laps over the team of Trigilio and Igneri. And Light and Merlini were third. So the top 2 teams after 3 hours are just 2 laps apart. And there was a videotape on Facebook, and it said Horky did this tremendous drive on red to keep the lead and win the race. I didn't watch it, but you know.
Yeah, I didn't watch the video either.
So then,
but not really surprising that Horky had a tremendous drive on any lane, though.
Right. So the following day, I guess it was Sunday, they started. Well, they had practice for 32nd Eurosport, and they may have qualified Sunday evening, or maybe it was Monday morning. But anyway, they qualified. I think there was 123 entries for that class, 132nd Eurosport. Paulo Trigilio was your TQ. And then the key in that deal is you want to be like in the top 28. Well, I think you want to be in the top 24, but the top 28 drivers, we had 3 Americans. We had Chubby, we had Jonathan, and we had Paul Goronsky. And the rest of the Americans that are over there, they were all in the lower mains. So they run all those mains, and they get down to 24 drivers, which they call the semis. And then from the semis, you make the main. And we had Goronsky and I believe Chubby and Jonathan all made it into the semis. And Jonathan was the only American to survive the semis and make the main. Mm-hmm. And then I haven't watched anything other than I watched a video that was like the last minute or two of the race, 32nd Eurosport race. And Verdes was leading it. And then he fell off on purple. Not once, but twice. I mean, like, came off, put him on, went to the next turn, came off. And Tondo went by for the win. So Tondo won, and Verdes was second, and Jonathan was third.
Yeah, I'm sure, in that situation, anytime you're leading and you got somebody close to you, you're always under pressure. But, I mean, like at that event on that level, I mean, it's got to be like an immense amount of pressure.
Oh, yeah.
Leading the whole
sure.
thing,
And
all you got to do is just make those next couple laps. But
right. And looking at the lap totals, the top three, pretty much they all ran trouble-free heats, except you could tell when they changed their tires. They either changed their tires in the sixth, like Jonathan and Tonda changed in either the sixth or seventh heat of the race.
Yeah.
Bertus changed his, it looks like, in the last heat. So, he's on purple. He ran until he had to change. And obviously still had to lead. I don't know on that track if purple's faster than red or red's faster than purple.
And you're changed under green.
Yeah, you got to change under green during the green flag.
So there's a little bit of a tire strategy going on because you're trying to – it's sort of like F1, trying to, like, who can do no stops, who's got to do one stop,
right.
Two stop,
But then all the other drivers like Castriconi and Recheck and Flazig and Light and Ollie, they all had their tire change heat, and then they had a heat or two or more that were worse. So, the top three guys, pretty much the way I see it, I wasn't there. I don't know the complete complexion of that race, but looked like the top three ran pretty solid, no problems, had their tire changes, and I think it was 466, 465, and 461.
Right.
And then fourth Castricone was another 10 or so.
And how quick are they changing tires?
That depends on your pit man. I mean, a couple of years ago, I watched Torquay change his tires and lose the 24th Eurosport main because I'm sitting there and I'm like watching him change his tires, and I'm like, what are you doing? This is like taking you forever. I mean, he's been in this position a zillion times, but he did it himself. No one helped him. And I mean, he probably lost 10 laps. Or, he went, lost 10 laps because he was changing his tires. Now, if you have someone to change your tires for you, you might be able to do it 5 to 8 laps, because by the time you stop and bend over and pick your car up, that's pretty much a lap. Now you have to change your tires, and now you got to bend down and put your car on and make sure you don't touch any other car.
Anybody else, yeah.
Then there's 2 laps or if you have someone off to the side of the track and he picks the car up. So, I mean, I've changed tires. Like when we were in England in '97, that track was long enough that I was able to change Tomato's tires at the start of his 32nd main and not lose a lap.
Wow. But how many seconds did it take to make a lap?
Oh, probably 6.
Okay.
5 to 6, easy.
And you have a tire wrench.
Yeah, I had it.
The tires ready to go, so you're just taking them off and bam.
Yep. 2 wrenches with tires.
Yeah.
On them. 1 wrench. Take the tire off, pitch it, put that on, tighten it, pitch that wrench, or go over and take the other tire off, then pitch that, put this one on, tighten it. And then I had to go on the tech block before they put it on the track because they had to make sure it had. Because back in them days, if you brought your car to tech and there was a problem, you had to fix it right at the start of the race when the power came on.
Right.
And he was too low. And they don't tell you, like.
How did you end up finishing in that race?
Ooh, I don't remember.
Okay.
I think
he had some good runs though. A lot of people racing now don't know him, but
yeah. Well, he finished 4th in the production race that year there. Yeah. So yeah, Tomato was a good racer. Another young kid that was really good. And then he went off to.
No, his name wasn't really Tomato.
No, I can't tell you what his real name is or was. So yeah, I mean that's and part of the ISRA thing is like your tire strategy. You start out. I mean, there's a lot of things to consider. Okay, you got to consider what lane you're going to start on, because if it's a fast lane, you can start a little higher. Because as your tires come down, you're going to go faster. So basically, what you want you to do is you want your tires to be. You want to be on slower lanes with your lower tires so you can go faster because your car's lower.
Right.
So then maybe you run a little bit bigger tire on the faster lanes, because even though it's slow, it's a little slower, you're still running a good pace. So some guys will start right at the 32 thousandths clearance. Some might start at, it could be 35, 37, 40. It's all in your strategy.
See, I'm a little bit like Cole Trickle, though, because I got to be at max speed when the green flag drops.
Well, and some guys are that way. I mean, like, Castricone started, I think, on red. He didn't have a very good red lane, so maybe he started high.
Yeah.
And then was hoping he would be fastest on the faster lanes. I mean, like, okay, so Paulo Trujillo did not make out of the semi to the main, but he ran like a 4:58 lap time in the semi. That was almost
fast.
2/10 faster
Yeah.
than the rest of the field. I mean, he was flying.
Yeah.
So I don't know what his downfall was, but he didn't make the move up.
Yeah. Now, a lot of you guys are listening to us and you're like, yeah, we'll never change tires. We don't care. But you could take this a step further, and you could, every race you race, there's a strategy, period. Even if it's just as simple as what lane you want to start on. I mean, there's really a strategy there.
Right.
And for me, it differs from track to track. So, like we were talking to Sano, for instance, at Chicagoland. years ago, the black lane used to be really, really tough. Mike's fixed it since then. It's nothing.
Yeah.
These kids nowadays got no idea what it
No.
was like. But so like, yeah, I used to always want to start on purple and black. You mean like, because those are always going to be the slowest lanes on that track.
Right.
They're going to be the hardest lanes. So, you know, at any track you go to, you know, if red's the hardest or purple or black's the hardest or whatever, I mean, you don't ever want to, if you can help it, you don't want to end on those lanes.
Right.
For me, because my theory is if I've got 2 laps on you going into the 8th heat, I want to be on a lane where I can go. Like, I don't want to have to be babying the car worrying about a really hard lane when I got you on orange or something. You just ready to smoke me. You know what I mean?
Right. And see, that's
see, like for me on a king track, I like to start in orange if I TQ, because you're kind of in the middle. You know, so you're not going to collect any trash in the gutters, you know, starting out. And then your motor's still really fresh, and it'll pull you all the way around the long way, all the way around the bank in white and red while it's nice and fresh. And then you end on, you know, and on yellow, which is always a good lane on a king track.
Right. And see, like okay, so, you know, of course, when you start the race, your tires, okay, it depends. And see that there's so many things that come into this. Like, if you're not allowed to change tires in the race, okay, then you want to try and run the upper lanes, the green, the white, the red, when your tires are the tallest. Hurt you a little bit in the tighter turns, like in maybe the donut or maybe the dead man on a king track, but you've got a lot more straightaway speed and bank speed with the taller tires. So, and then as you go down the track and your tires come down, you know, your tires are going to be the smallest when you fit. Like, say, if you start on white, you know, you're going to run red and white with your tires at the tallest. Then as you get down to black, your tires are going to be a little smaller. But when you get back to the middle, because you'll finish on orange, yellow and orange and black, I mean, your tires are going to be smaller. So, and the thing about starting on orange, like at the beginning of the race, you know, you said about the gutters. I mean, technically, the first heat of a race should always be the cleanest heat, because usually you got a minute warm up before you start the race, so everyone gets to feel their cars and figure the lane out, figure their controllers out. And you know, a lot of times, if you don't have a warm up period and you start in the middle, sometimes you're like the target because you got cars coming from every direction.
Right. Yeah.
In the middle of the track. So, I usually try and start up high, orange, white, if I have that choice, and then, you know, sometimes if I don't qualify good, then I just kind of got to figure. But like I always say, it always comes down to you're going to run all 8 lanes, so you got to make the most of every lane when you're on those lanes, and that's staying on and making laps. But, you know, back in my wing car days, when, I mean, we used to run, you know, purposely, we had taller tires for red and white lane. We'd take them off after red, and we'd go to the next size smaller for green and blue. And then we went to purple and black. We'd put on a little bit smaller tire because it would help us get around black and purple faster. And then you'd come off of black, and you go back up to the same size tire you ran on, like green and blue. You'd put that same size tire back on for yellow and orange.
See, you got 8 lanes, so you got 8 battles. You just have to win enough battles to come away with a win for the war.
Right.
You don't have to win every heat.
No, but it's nice.
Enough. Yeah. You always try to, but you know.
I mean, that's like the race this weekend. I mean, I did well myself early in the race while others had trouble, and I built up my lap lead. Well, then after that, I went into like a cruise protection. I didn't have to push my car. You know?
But sometimes that gets me, though.
Well, that will get you sometimes.
You know, because you're used to running your car 9/10 or 10/10, and sometimes when you back out of it, your car starts doing things it didn't do, or you don't know that it does.
Or you don't hit your marks right.
All the right. So you just marks right.
Yeah.
So yeah, you got to be careful doing that sometimes.
Yep.
But I know what you're saying, though. Yeah, I mean, like Like you get around red real good on that track. So
Well, like the retro angle wire race, I started on the slower lane, and I had to chase Rick T the entire distance, and I finally got and when he went up high and I was down low, then I started making my couple laps I was down back up on him, and worked my way back into the lead, and that was a difference in lanes. I mean, he got the lead because I was behind him on slower lanes. And then when he started going on the slower lanes, and I came up I got my time back. But I mean, we finished less than a half a lap apart, so we probably had the same number of come-offs. I think we both pretty much had identical races. He had probably a little bit faster car than I did, but it just, I mean, you can look at it a bunch of different ways. He came off one time too many, but then I'd come off one time too many earlier too. So, but it was a good race.
Yeah, it's like,
and those guys, you want to talk about home track advantage? I mean, and I'm not saying all them guys, not every single one, but the majority of those guys last weekend, they raced downriver every Wednesday night. I mean, they have a great weekly racing program, and those guys race Can-Am in a flexi class every week. Sometimes they'll switch up, run F1 or maybe some other class, but yeah, those guys, they know that track.
Okay, so we didn't talk about the upcoming races. But we'll get to that because we kind of got off on this. So one of the upcoming races this weekend is the FNRS race at Tri-State, Ohio, where we do expect a very large turnout.
Well, I thought we might talk about that after we talk about the other ones.
But I'm kind of getting to what you're talking about now.
Okay, well, go ahead then. Excuse me.
The method of my madness.
Okay.
So this weekend's upcoming event, if you TQ, let's say you TQ GTP, which probably isn't going to happen because I got some stuff set aside.
Okay.
Theoretically, what lane would you choose? Like if you had your pick of all 8, what would your first pick be on a king track?
Okay. First of all, it's going to probably depend on who's second fastest and where I think they might start.
Okay, so explain why though. Like explain why. Let's say I'm second fastest.
I mean, again, it all goes back to we're going to all run the same lanes, but.
Okay, so you TQ, I'm second. What lane do you pick and why?
Okay, see, I know you're going to want to start on orange, okay?
Okay.
I have the option of screwing you over and taking your starting lane and just throwing your whole system out of whack.
Well, not necessarily because I like starting on white on king track.
If I TQ, I will probably either start on orange or white.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much what like most people do anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think like if GTP, I don't think it's going to be a hindrance. Starting in either of those two lanes, I don't think. It's one of those deals. Okay.
You can win from starting from any lane.
Yes.
But it doesn't hurt if you have a strategy and kind of you get to play that out.
Okay, here's the way I look at it. If I start on orange and I get down towards the end of the race and I really need to make a comeback, I'm only going to have one lane to make that comeback on. That's going to be yellow.
Right.
Okay. Like, black and purple is good there, but they're not as fast as. So.
Right. But if you start on white, then you can.
If I start on white, I get to finish yellow-orange, see?
Right.
And there's some guys like starting on red, finishing on white. I mean, down there on that track, white and red are both excellent lanes. So, I've won from red and white down there. I mean, I've started on red and white and won. I've finished on red and white and won there. So, it just, again, it's the complexion of the race. And
all right. So what do we got next year? What are we moving on to?
Well, we got the race announcement. So this weekend.
Well, wait a minute. Wait a second. Did we get all the race results? Are we sure?
I believe. Did I forget something?
I don't know. I'm just asking because if we forget something, we're going to hear about it.
Hard body, Sano, Penn Jersey, BRS, AWRA, and ISRA.
All right, sounds good then.
And again, there was a bunch of other races that happened last
But
week.
if we had forgotten anything, message Ron.
Yeah, message Ron. Message Ron.
All right, so we got a lot of stuff coming up too.
Complaint department. All right, so this weekend we've got the Central Illinois Slot Series at Whiskers.
Mhm.
We have the Mid-South Slot Racing Association at Archdale.
And the CIS is going to be run by Jeff Strauss this
Yes,
year.
he is the new presidente.
But only for this year because I think he's retiring in April or something next year.
Yeah, I think I see.
He's retiring slot cars.
Yeah, he's going to retire in April, but
so he's going to run CIS one and done. Hopefully it's a bang this year.
yep. That's a good little series.
Yeah.
They got some neat tracks and stuff. So we got Mid-South at Archdale. We've got a lot of big races this weekend. Again, I mean, you've got the Halloween NASCAR race at Slot Cars Are Us down in White House, Tennessee.
Yeah.
And Tracy's got 3 big trophies, and I'm sure they'll have at least 20.
I'd imagine, yeah.
So, I mean, Tennessee's becoming quite the hotbed of slot racing here lately with a new track just opening, and then there's another track going to come online soon, and there's already 2 or 3 tracks there, and they are like hard body NASCAR crazy. So,
yeah, and then with Bullitt so close also.
yes,
which is Bullitt's kind of where a lot of this started, really.
Right. And we still have ISRA. ISRA will be finishing up this weekend. Saturday will be.
They have Eurosport, a 24th Eurosport left to run.
Yeah, because today we're running 32nd F1.
Yeah.
And then on late Thursday or our early Friday is when Eurosport 24th practice starts and qualifying and lower main, semis, and the main. The main will finish sometime on Saturday because they'll go have their dinner, and next week we'll announce who the ISRA Hall of Fame, is that what they're calling that?
Yep. Hall of Fame.
5 guys going in.
5 people in the ISRA Hall of Fame, and those names will be announced at the dinner. Yeah.
See, we could announce them right now, but Ralph is sworn to secrecy.
Yeah.
So, okay, so not only ISRA, and then we have the Hard Body Nationals at the Track Raceway in South Bend, Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the Mid-American Hard Body Series.
Brian Maharey series.
Brian Maharey. It's their final, I guess, summer series race, but it's their nationals. Last year, I mean, they had 40 plus at that deal last year, and I don't see why they would have. They would have just as many or more this year. So that should be a super event. I wish I didn't have a race I had to go to because I'd love to go up there and have fun with those guys. But
You can go. It's all right.
Well, I was actually thinking I could have maybe went up there and raced early in the day and then still made it in time to run GTP in Cincinnati.
Just go there and stay.
Okay, Ralph. You want me to send you my car too, so you'll have it at Cincinnati? And then we've got the FNRS.
Well, we could proxy qualify you.
Oh, okay. There you go. Okay, so next weekend, October 21st, we got the Hillbilly Howl at Slot Cars Are Us in White House, Tennessee with wing cars.
Yep.
Great Lakes Retro Combination Midwest Slot Car Series race at Thaser Raceway in South Bend. You've got the OCC, the Ohio Challenge Cup at HMS in Bellevue, Ohio on the American King track there.
Yep.
You have the USCA Series at Chicagoland Raceway in Illinois. And you have a B&E Crosstown Series at Chicagoland. And I have the American Womp Racing Association at Archdale next week. And then the following weekend, the 28th, we got BRS and the American Series at HMS in Bellevue on the 135-foot crossover Aristocrat Hill Climb. And I think we're going to probably have a FNRS GTP warm-up race there after the retro classes.
I'm pretty...
Because we have the Ohio Flexi Car
Yeah.
Championships race coming up December 2nd.
I'm pretty sure there's a New England, the retro racing is going to have a race next weekend too. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Um,
And then you've got
I know the Midwest Lockhart Series is starting up soon too.
yeah, that's October 21st
Yeah.
with the Great Lakes race at Thaser.
Yeah. Now I was looking at, and that's run by Joe Dirt.
Yes.
And I was looking at that schedule, and that looks like a pretty. I like the schedule. I think it's better than it has been the last couple of years.
Which one's that?
The Midwest Lockhart Series.
Yeah.
I like how he doesn't go anywhere twice, and I like how it's really spread out. It's really diversified as far as the tracks they go to. I would kind of like to go to some of those races.
Well, he's having 6 races, and 4 are combination with Great Lakes Retro, and 2 of them are with BRS Retro.
Right.
So the 2 BRS races, one's at Kit Henry's, HMS. That's like the first weekend of January, and then a couple weekends after that, 21st of January, we have BRS race at Tri-State, where we're going to be this weekend, and that'll be a combo race with those 2 series. And then the other 4 races are Great Lakes, and we race at the 2 South Bend tracks, Columbia City 2 tracks, and then Mid-America.
Yeah.
So, and then
and with sprint car season winding down, Joe and guys like Joe and Cap will be out running more, so it'll be good to have them.
Yeah, Joe. Yeah. Joe will be in South Bend on the 21st. He won't make it the 28th because he's going to run the real car somewhere. I think the last time for the year. Well, until end of December for the indoor racing. Right. So back to October 28th, we got ORS at Tom Thumb Hobbies, and we got American Womp Racing Association at Staunton, Virginia, as well as in San Diego, California.
Okay.
So, and that's Halloween weekend. So,
yeah, I think there's also a Halloween race at Rapid Raceways also.
Yeah.
And it's actually their 17th annual Halloween race.
All right, we'll get more info next week for that. I mean,
yeah, I just thought it was really cool. 17th annual. You don't
Yeah.
see that a lot, you know.
Right. Yeah. I think they call that the Halloween Howl too, or something.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. So, back to the FNRS race this weekend. Lots of guys coming in from a lot of places.
Yeah, I've had a lot of calls from people. I started a roll call thread. Not a lot of people really said anything, and I was kind of like, oh man, you know.
No, I don't ever do that.
You know, but then I started talking to you, and then like all these people started calling me, and they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna be there, and all of a sudden we had all these names of people who we didn't know were coming, and they hadn't been to an FNR race yet, and this looks like this could be the biggest one so far, I think.
Well, we'll see.
I'm a possibility.
I'm working on not only one former USRA national champion, not just 2 or 3, but possibly 4 more guys that trying to get there. And
who would this be?
You'll have to wait and see.
Okay. Well,
I'm not for sure they're going to be there, but they want to, and I told them we take care of them, and
okay, that'd be awesome.
They all want to be there, so hopefully it works out.
Now, how former are we talking about?
Oh, well, we're talking one goes back a little over 30 years.
Okay.
And couple would be within the last 3 or 4 years.
Okay, that's pretty recent.
And the other one would be about.
Would these be wing car?
Yeah, all wing car guys.
Okay.
But I think today.
I got an idea who a couple of them.
I think today's GTP cars might be faster than the wing cars that 2 of them raced last time they raced wing cars.
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah.
And that's the thing about Tri-State. I always want to call it TRs, but you know they've always had pretty good, even a national wing car program throughout the years. You know they've always kept racing wing cars there. Even
Well,
if it's just a monthly thing or whatnot, but
they've only had the
cars in there throughout the years.
they've only had the King track there since, I'm going to say, since about 2009 or 2010. So,
Right.
And it's come and gone. I mean, it's the original Coeford King track that Stu had purchased and put there, and it's been, Rick Blackson's been involved since then and ever since. But
Right.
Terry Rice and is now like more or less the owner of Tri-State. So,
Right.
but Rick is still there, involved.
Yeah, I haven't seen Rick in a few years, and it'll be nice to finally meet Terry, as you said. So,
But that Coeford King track has been in 4 different locations too. So
yeah, it's been around.
yeah, and Rick Blackson will be with us Friday, but not Saturday. He's going to go to Innovative Hobbies.
Do some drag racing.
Drag race, yeah. I think that's another race too this weekend, and we don't talk about drag racing much because we're not drag racers. So, I mean, we can speak a little bit of lingo, but we're not on top of everything. So we got our hands full with all this other stuff. But Innovative Hobbies, or maybe I think it's Innovative Hobbies, on the south side of Indianapolis. This is the first race of the Neo series. So they're going to be racing Neo cars.
Not neons.
Neo.
Not Dodge neons. Yeah.
Neo.
Yeah.
So, and Rick thought they were going to have a pretty good turnout for that. So.
Yeah.
But I told Rick this last week, and sometime I want to get him on the show, and he's another guy who can tell us a little bit about drag racing and the history of it and stuff. So.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Started and how, and where it's at today.
Right.
Several people. So.
Hey, even like Bob Herrick or
That's another guy, yeah.
Blackson. There's a lot of people you can have on that really talk about.
There's a lot of people. Yeah, we talked about having Joe and Roger Chichi on when we had John Miller on the show. So just a matter of time, because we've got some people coming up the next few weeks that'll, I think, will be good guests. Not that our past guests have been bad guests. I'm just saying, I think everyone we've had on the show has been good and interesting. And
okay, so here's one for you. So before the show starts, you guys, sometimes we just kind of banter back and forth a little bit.
Kind of?
Yeah. I always ask Ron, I always say, what episode number is this? He always gives me a hard time, right?
Because you always forget.
Yeah, and so he said something about episode 256. And then he says, man, I'm really going to be old when we get to episode 256. So I have a special prize pack for anyone that can guess how old Ron will be when episode 256 airs. You get one guess.
Okay, well, you got to, okay.
No hints, nothing.
Okay, no clue. I was going to say, are you going to give them some clues?
This is under the assumption that we continue to do one show a week for the next 256 weeks. How old will Ron be?
Because I am the old guy on this show.
Yeah, and older than dirt does not qualify as an answer. We need an actual number. All right. So
I might be lucky to be around 256 episode.
Just throw that out there. Anyway,
I have some young new gun in this seat.
Yeah.
You'll be the old guy.
Yeah. I feel like the old guy sometimes now already, unfortunately.
Okay. So, what else do we need to know?
I don't know. I know nothing. That guy.
Nothing.
That's all I got this week. I just been getting all my stuff ready, man. Been breaking in motors and painting bodies and mounting bodies and building cars and setting up cars. And
are you ready?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Actually,
I painted bodies this morning, and I just got to mount some bodies. And other than that, I think I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
I think, but depends on how many bodies I want to mount. That's always the question.
Yeah.
Because I've got practice bodies on all the cars. And should I have a new body for each car in case I decide I want to race this car? But most of the bodies should interchange. But I can always mount when I'm there too.
See, that's what I do. Say I paint, cut, and then I always have a practice body, and then I say, well, I just pin the race body. Like,
but when are you gonna show us how you cut and pin and mount?
well, I got some. We could do that.
Well, you were supposed to do that. I don't know how many weeks ago.
Dude, I know. I mean, with racing season taking off, I mean, I've just been hammered.
I know it's been crazy.
How it is. It's a good thing. You know,
So,
it's like, a lot. Some people say, oh, you don't race anymore or something, But I mean, my God, we do slot cars all day, every day, literally 24 hours a day. So just because we're not at the track doesn't mean we're not slot carring,
Right. So
mounting a body at the end of my day after I've been doing slot car stuff all day isn't always the thing that's on the top of my list, but I'm going to get to it.
Well, I think a lot of people have asked about do a show on the history of the flexi cars chassis, or so I will be starting my research here in the next week or so on that. I mean, I just got to dig things out and make notes, and that could be a pretty long show, but we'll see what happens. And then, more how-to stuff's coming, more how-to videos, and I don't know. Other than that, that's all.
Okay, that's all I got too. What's the secret word of the show?
256.
56. Okay.
Because you got to guess my age.
Okay.
I would be at episode 256.
Okay. All right.
So 256. That's not a word, but hey.
That's all right. Remember, you get one guess at Ron's age. That's it.
One.
No hints.
Well, no, wait a minute. You got to clarify that. Current age or age at 256.
Ron, how old will Ron be when episode 256 airs? If we air one show a week. Jesus, this reminds me of that question. If
he's still alive.
If you're going 70 miles an hour, how many miles do you go in an hour?
If you go 70 miles an hour and you go...
What color is that dress?
How far have you traveled?
35
miles.
Yeah, about 35 plus 5.
Yeah.
Depends on the wind speed. All right, guys.
So what's your So before we go, what's your predictions for this weekend as far as who do you think's going to I'm asking you for the LMP and stock car classes. Who do you think's going to be the runners?
Who are going to be like the
top guys, say. I know it's hard to really say because
that's hard for me to say because I don't know a lot of the people. I've never been to Tri-State.
You should get out more.
So what's that? Yeah, I know. So I don't know who a lot of the local guys are. There's always a handful of local guys, just like at Marks, like the Gardners and everybody that gets in there. But I think you're probably going to look a main potential. I think you're probably hopefully you'll see James Johnson in there, Eric Shirey, probably Shane, Bobby, Matt. As far as guys from out of town, your usual guys, and then whoever there is that's fast. I don't know if somebody like Butters will be there or
you got Tim and Lonnie Batts.
Yeah, the Batts
boys,
bros. And I don't know.
Right.
What do you think? It seemed like a loaded question, so why don't you just tell me?
Well, I just didn't know, if you're thinking about this race or not, getting mentally prepped.
Well,
you're behind on your car prep, so I didn't know if you're...
Well, to me, I don't know. I don't really care who's going to be a player because I'm going to be the player, so...
The player. Ralph is the player.
Whoever is going to be in it is going to be in it. That's it,
I don't go to be the player. I go to be the coach.
There you go.
See?
Okay. All right.
No, it should be a good time. I think it should be a competitive race. Terry will be there. There'll be several guys there. The track.
But is Terry running NASCAR and LMP?
Well, that's a rumor.
Okay, so now he is. Okay.
That's a rumor.
Well, I hope he does.
I don't know what.
Okay, so I didn't say Terry's name because last we had talked,
I think he's going to make an attempt.
Okay.
So
Good. Well, if he makes an attempt, then he'll be a player.
he might throw the towel in early if things aren't going good. But hey,
T. Watt will be in it to win it.
he don't watch the show, so we can make fun of him.
Okay.
And you know what? There may be one more special guest there. We'll see. I can't say who it'll be, but not really special. Yeah. Unexpected guest.
Okay.
So, and there's a lot of people showing. I mean, there's some old time. I shouldn't say. I say old time. I mean, they used to race the original Ohio Challenge Cup back when I ran it in the '90s. Some of them guys are gonna be there, and
Right.
so and they used to run good back then, and so if they've bought the right stuff and they've done their testing and a little homework, I mean, they're gonna be in the mix. So
well, that's what's good about our. I mean, I'm not bragging, but that's kind of what's good about the rules. I mean, they're so simple. I mean, anybody does have a shot.
Right. Yep. So, and I know the locals have been, racing hard. Are you going to try and run the warm up race on Thursday?
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm debating that.
Okay. I won't be there.
I mean, if I do, it's just going to be grab a random motor out of the box and put it in and go. Kind of not going to be like any effort into it or anything.
Yeah, just run some laps.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, good luck.
Yep. Good luck at the hard body race.
Yeah, the early race.
So. Okay.
Yeah. All right.
That's episode 10 in the books.
Yeah, I can't believe he remembered it.
That's right.
And
all right, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Yep. Appreciate you tuning in. Secret Word 256. And you might catch some videos or some Facebook Live action from the FNRS race this weekend. So stay tuned to the FNRS page for that.
Then next week we'll probably have some more technical talk after we've had the race. And
yeah, we should have a special guest next week too. By the way.
Yes.
So
all right. Well, everybody. Good.
All right. Thank you. Have a good night. And if you're going to travel anywhere this week or this weekend, be safe, guys. We'll see you at a track soon.